Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina. I help support people on their decluttering journeys. And one of the things that I think we all struggle with is letting go of sentimental items. This is something that really held me back in my own decluttering journey. And a while ago, I did a huge deep dive into sentimental decluttering, and I will go ahead and link that video in the description box below because I definitely recommend that you watch it. But in that video, I briefly touched upon a psychological phenomenon that can make letting go of these items even more painful and emotional. And it's something that not a lot of people know about. In fact, I've never actually heard another channel discuss it. So today I want to thoroughly address what that is and, more importantly, how we can overcome it so decluttering these items becomes a lot easier and a lot less traumatic. So the concept that we're talking about today is called sacralization, and this word can have a lot of different meanings. But in the realm of psychology, the sacralization of objects from loved ones who have passed, or just from things that have very specific memories attached to them, happens when we subconsciously feel like they hold the essence of these people or these experiences inside of them somehow, almost like they contain a little piece of them. We can feel like by holding on to these items, we are preserving our loved ones or our special experiences and keeping the past alive. So it makes perfect sense that we would feel really anxious at the thought of letting these items go. I mean, on some level, I'm sure we understand that the experience or the person is not somehow hidden inside of the item. But on some level, we really can feel like the item is somehow sacred. This phenomenon also happens a lot with celebrities, and that's why people will pay crazy amounts of money to have something even very insignificant that once belonged to someone they admired, because again, they feel like if that person touched it or owned it, the object is now special. It has a little piece of them. They get to be attached to them in some way, even if it's something like a pen or a toothbrush that no one would care about otherwise. But back to our topic, which is the sacralization of items that are linked to specific people that were in our life, I want to make clear that this can also include the past versions of ourselves. So all the things that have to do with who we were in a different phase in our life, or when we had a different career or a different relationship. These items can also become sacred to us. And it's so important that we understand this psychology because it helps us to make sense of why it's so difficult for us to let these items go. So one of the things that we might be wrestling with when we own these types of items is that we can feel like we have a tangible connection to these people or these time periods, like they're still there because the item is still there. Another thing that can happen when the object belonged to a loved one is that we can start to project our own feelings and memories into the object, or even the characteristics that we associate with that person. And when we do this, it can create a sense of sentience and aliveness in the object. And we can feel like it's holding their spirit, or like I said earlier, their essence. So we can feel that by holding onto the object, it is allowing us to maintain our connection with them. So in a way, we may be using these items as a method to cope with our loss, or as a way to avoid having to say a final goodbye to a person or a specific time period in our life. And that is precisely why we need to be incredibly self-compassionate when we do struggle with letting go, because psychologically, it does make perfect sense that at least a part of us wants to hold on to these items. But as we know, it's not always feasible or practical to do so, especially when we have a lot of items or when the items are very large, like furniture. It can also be problematic when holding on to these items is actually preventing us from healing and from moving forward in our life, which can happen a lot more often than we think. So if you feel like this is the case for you and your home is becoming really just a museum of the past and you're ready to start letting some of these things go, let's talk about some realistic and non-overwhelming ways that we can do exactly that. Now, firstly, I have to say that letting go of these types of items can be a delicate and emotional process. So we really don't want to try to push ourselves faster than we are ready to go. And I think to begin this process, we have to start by taking an assessment of our feelings and also of the amount of items that we're really talking about here. If in reality we really just have a few items and they actually make us feel very happy and they're not in our way, I really don't think that we need to pressure ourselves to get rid of them. I say this all the time, but not everything is clutter. Clutter is just the things that get in the way of us being able to enjoy our life. So that is a very important distinction that we have to keep in mind. But with that being said, to move forward, we do need to acknowledge and honor our emotions. So in other words, don't try to suppress the sadness, anxiety, or guilt that you might be feeling about letting the item go. Validate its emotional significance and allow yourself to grieve the physical connection, but also begin to acknowledge that the item is separate from the person or memory. To be able to let something go, we have to realize that the person or the memory's essence does not reside within the actual object, but rather in our internal world of experiences. And these will continue on even without the physical objects. And one practical thing that we can do is to shift to digital preservation. So for example, we can take pictures of the items, or we can scan the letters and photographs and other mementos to make digital copies that we can have forever, and they take up zero space. Another idea is to donate the items to relevant organizations or individuals who would treasure them or continue their story. Sometimes it can be a little easier to let something go when we feel like these items are going to have a meaningful new home. This is something that definitely did make it a lot easier for me. And something else that can be helpful is to have a goodbye ceremony for the items where we express our gratitude for these memories, or even write down the stories that are connected to these memories in a journal. A lot of people have found that this helps to bring closure and healing, and it helps them to separate the emotions and the memories from the physical objects themselves. Remember, letting go of these items doesn't erase the memories or diminish our love for a person or phase of our life. It simply creates space for new chapters and new memories, and believe it or not, it really can help us to heal and find emotional freedom. But really, the most important thing is that we are kind and patient with ourselves during this process. There is no right or wrong way to declutter sentimental items, so go with whatever works for you, and just make sure that you are honoring your emotions during the process. And if you feel like you need a little bit more help or support during your decluttering journey, please check out the playlist I have linked in the description box below. It has about 50 videos designed to help you every step of the way. So as always, I truly hope you found today's video to be helpful and insightful. If you did, please like it, share it, and definitely become a subscriber if you aren't one already. I would love it if you would stay connected. I want to thank you so much for watching today, and I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary.